He told me after.
Just a second. Well, you told the police the accident happened in May, on May 3rd. Schulte, police then asked you about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3/2022 near 1500 block of Grenada North. We asked if you contacted the police. She said she did. Schulte said she struck another woman's vehicle and they both pulled over. Police officer indicates I felt Schulte was being deceptive when I asked her if she called the police about the accident. And I don't think there's any other police report. Did you file a police report about this accident on May 3rd?
I'm guessing...
is not an answer.
I'm guessing that is the day that they called the cops to get the actual vehicle after the accident.
I asked Schulte about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3. That's what the police report says. Oh. You know, there's a saying, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. You were involved in an accident. The damage was to the front end of the car. You hit another woman's car, is that right? That's what you told the police. That's what you told the police. Whatever it is, you're responsible for the damage. She's responsible for the damage. Oh, yeah. It's mostly to the bumper, right?
There was a lot of underlying damage making the vehicle undrivable. There was damage to the transmission and some problems with the oil after.
That's all right. I'm going to take a look at the estimate. I'm going to take a look at the estimate, then I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Thompson.
Isaac hands a document to Kevin, who brings it to Judy. She reviews it, then turns to Sarah.
Take a look and see what the
car?
Yeah.
I'm using an 80,000-mile valuation. I don't know how many miles were on it. It wasn't on the form, but it's 10 to 12,000 for a trade-in value, based on the 80,000-mile valuation on it, in good condition.
Now, you signed an agreement with your lender that until this car is paid off, that you would maintain insurance on it.
Correct.
Did you?
I did not. I took insurance.
Shh.
Caption coming up.
Mr. Thompson, is what you're telling me that you relied on her statement that she had insurance on this car, which is why you dropped the insurance?
Correct, Your Honor.
If you stop making payments on the car, who do you think the bank would come after?
They would come after me.
Because their contract was with you. They say to you, we're giving you this money. In return for that, you have to keep this vehicle insured, and you failed to do that.
Yes.
You can't do that.
A courthouse. The Judy Justice logo.
Her former client, Donnie Alford, assaulted her and refuses to return her dog's registration papers. Donnie is countersuing for the cost of French bulldogs and defamation.
Now, what happened at the eviction hearing?
They're aware of the situation.
Don't tell me what they're aware of. What happened?
Nothing happened. I'm letting them take ownership of the property. I'm giving it back to them.
When?
As soon as this case is over.
Why didn't you give it back to them when they evicted you? Have you been paying rent?
No.
Never.
She stated she pays the rent and I provide the artistry. Like, I do the art. I'm a performer. She pays the rent. That was our agreement. It's in my phone. I got it text message from her phone stating that during 2021 to 2022.
Is what you're saying the lease was in her name and she agreed to pay the rent? Well, then what do you want to show me?
It's in my name, but that's how I was paying the rent. She's giving...
She gave you the money?
Yes, she's giving it from working. I'm the artist.
Never. Can I show you the check?
Just to say, did you file tax returns in 2022?
No, ma'am.
I'm not asking you a question. Did you file tax returns?
Yes.
Yes. How much did you earn in 20? This whole thing sort of broke up, the managerial relationship as well as the, albeit brief, social relationship. She defamed you by publishing someplace the fact that you have AIDS, carry multiple STDs, and hit women. So the court that heard the protective order may or may not have found that one of the actions that you did was hit women, so I'm going to forget about that in this. But I want you to show me proof that she published facts that you either have AIDS or carry multiple STDs.
So here's this.
Now just look at it carefully and make sure what you're giving me supports your statement that she alleged either one of those two things.
It's this one right here. It's
That's
the main one.
Just a second. Is that the only one that you have?
No, I have a lot, but that's the main one where
Not main one. Not main one. I asked you for anything that you have where she published that you either had AIDS or multiple STDs.
Okay.
Your Honor, he's the
Don't speak.
That's the only one for the AIDS and STDs that
May
I
I
have.
see them, please?
Donnie hands documents to Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin brings them to Judy, who reviews them.
had sex with me, made love with me, all kind of stuff.
Oh, you know what? Are you and your husband still together?
I am.
Can I say
24 years.
24 years. All right. It was a mistake.
It was a very
was a
big one.
big
a
mistake.
very big one.
It was a very big mistake, Ms.
Yes,
Thornton.
the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah, very big mistake. Who are you living with now, Mr. Alford?
I stay with my girlfriend.
Is that your
No.
girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you doing?
I breed dogs,
You breed dogs.
Frenchies. Yes.
How many dogs do you have?
We have 3, but we currently have 2 French bulldogs and about to get another one.
I just feel sorry for all these dogs. It doesn't appear to me that it's really such a good hobby.
I'm not the person she's trying to make me out to, and I hope that you allow me to show you that.
Listen, Mr. Alford, I want you to clearly understand me. I'm not getting into extrinsic material, sir. She says you have 8 children. You say you had 5. If you have 5 children, and what you're saying is you spent thousands of dollars on dogs in the same time period where someone else is paying your rent so
She
that
was
you
only
can
paying
develop
my
your
rent.
media career, how much money are you paying in child support, Mr. Alford?
I paid $25 for one child, and I pay
$25 or what?
$25 a month for one
A
child.
month, just a second.
And then
Do
I
you-
pay $145 for another child, and that's only because...
month?
Yes.
A month. Well, I have to tell you, sir, I have a 4-pound Shih Tzu, and I couldn't feed her for $25 a week.
Donnie lowers his eyes, caption coming up.
She has been locked up because she has came to my home and assaulted me and stuff like that and destroyed property.
On what date was she arrested?
I don't know the exact date.
Do you know what month and date you were arrested?
April 12th of 2022.
My God, you...
Donnie's girlfriend grins and shakes her head. A courthouse. The Judy Justice...
Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, stole her property and owes her dog registration papers. Donnie says Amina defamed him on social media.
Go.
I'm an excellent father. I take care of my business. I do that. If I was a bum, she wouldn't have came to me and either gave me money to do what I had to do. I'm not that character. I'm not that guy. I take care of my responsibilities. I've been taking my responsibilities before I moved to Atlanta.
You can't.
Yes, I
sir.
can.
On $25 a month, you're not supporting a child.
I'm excellent.
Don't speak. I want you to be quiet.
This is his
I
career.
don't want
Child-
you to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the only thing I pay. I take care of my
tell
kids.
me what you...
I take care of
No,
my
just
kids.
a second. How do you take care of your kids?
I provide for them.
How?
If somebody needs something, then I do it.
You mean
I
like
take
if they
care.
need a pair of sneakers?
If anything, I
No,
go get my
anything.
kids. I have
Okay,
2 kids.
very
I
good.
came to Georgia because
this is
my
the-
kids is in Georgia.
Good. This is the ruling of the court. The ruling of the court is that we will notify AKC with regard to the...
Nothing about the defamation of character or none
to
of
the
that.
dogs. Sir,
My girlfriend is a teacher. She sent a letter to the superintendent and threatened that, oh, well, you have a rapist in the house, and sent letters and pictures, nude pictures to my mom, posted on internet. Like, I'm
just a second. Did you post nude pictures? Put it down. Put your thing down.
This is
Did you put
stuff I bought for his kid.
Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're being annoying. Did you post nude pictures of him on the internet?
No, Your Honor, he has an OnlyFans account.
I'm dismissing your case the next time you say a word. Do you understand?
This
I'm going
is
to
where-
dismiss your case. You'll be without the registration for the puppies. Do you
This
understand?
is where she sent people the text message, and you can see it has a little nudity in it, but I didn't want to make it big, obviously, because we're in the courtroom. But you can see where I'm naked in here. She sent my military ID to people. It's been like this. And then I have text message where I tell her to leave me alone. And all she does is say, oh, not until I get my dog papers, not until this happens, not until that. You wanted an enemy. I have
He's
all
never
of this.
been in the military.
Do you understand what I said? I'm going to dismiss your case the next time you say a word.
I don't understand, man.
Just a second. The next time you say a word, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Mr. Alford, what you're claiming, sir, and I'm going to do this very quickly. What you're claiming, and I can imagine that this is a course of conduct that, what do you want?
I don't want anything.
Then take the finger down.
Donnie's girlfriend lowers her finger.
I understand, Mr. Alford, that if what you're saying is that she's embarked upon a campaign to harass and embarrass you, look at me, Mr. Alford, what precipitated that? What precipitated this campaign of harassment? Because now you know how to go to court to get a protective order. Did you ever bring these allegations to the judge who heard the application for a protective order? That's either a yes or a no.
There is an open case that I can't discuss, but she has been locked up because she has came to my home and assaulted me and stuff like that and destroyed property. But
So, just a second. So, when you say there's an open case, where is that open case?
Fulton County.
Is it a criminal case?
Yes.
On what date was she arrested?
I don't know the exact date.
Do you know on what month and day and date you were arrested?
April 12th of 2022.
My God, you people. Was the issue with her the papers for the dogs?
No.
What was the issue? Because I think you said that
the
before. She
issue-
wanted the papers for the dogs.
The issue is that she wanted something from me and didn't get that. You know, because if it was the situation with just the dogs or anything, then she would have been left me alone. If I harassed her, if I raped her,
Okay.
if I did all this stuff to her, why is she still coming to me? I'm not coming to her. It's been a whole year of this, of being harassed. Your kids get involved. I didn't even know the dog had puppies. I don't follow her. She's sending me pictures of I got the dogs have puppies, woo, woo.
Well,
like all of this.
I'm going to explain something to you, Mr. Alford. You know, I could be wrong. I was last wrong in about 1947. I remember I ordered the wrong flavor ice cream from the Good Humor Man. You each wanted something different from this relationship. That's crystal clear to me. Whatever her motivation was, clearly was not your motivation. And eventually, the realization was, how old are you?
I'm 35.
How old are you?
46.
Okay? 46 doesn't go into 35. I learned that. 35 goes into 46. Okay? So eventually, it didn't pan out, and there's lots of bad feelings. Going into a business with Frenchies, I actually just feel sorry for the dogs. But if there was any irritant, Mr. Alford, any irritant whatsoever that involved the registration papers for the dogs, you should have let her have them.
No.
Because this is not a question, this is now a ruling. You should have let her have them because a woman scorned will do nothing short of getting even. Men are just happy to walk away. A woman scorned is a whole different thing. And what I'm telling you, sir, if the one irritant was giving her the papers for the dog, which there is no way you paid for these dogs
I did.
a penny. No way you
And
paid for
I
these
didn't
dogs. You
give
weren't
her-
even paying
I
your
didn't
own
give
rent.
her the dog.
Anyway, the ruling of the court is you get the registration papers for the dogs. Everything else is dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
Donnie and Amina gather their documents. Outside the courtroom, Donnie, then Amina.
At first, it was just business, and then it started getting personal.
The main thing was my dogs. They are my family.
I had stuff tied to the dogs and business, and she had stuff tied to the dog, and we both didn't want to lose anything.
He chose to live on lies.
It's hard to see him go, but it's even more hard that I'm still out here as this bad guy.
And if you're living on lies, then truth is never going to prevail.
You know, be careful about who you work with.
The time he assaulted me, that's when we fell out and it became an issue.
I feel sorry for the dogs because that's what she's going to do. She's going to breed them and throw them in the trash, like she said.
I love my dogs. My kids love my dogs. And we take care of them.
Sarah and Judy.
I don't think anyone with that type of financial picture should be able to spend $3,500 per dog on Frenchies to take up a new breeding hobby, which, as we've seen, is not a hobby. That is a business, a profession that requires an immense amount of specialized knowledge.
And care.
And care
Especially
and time.
for that breed.
Especially for that breed.
People should really not take on as a side hustle breeding whatever dog there is of the month. It's not fair.
It's not a fad.
It's not a fad. You know, I can't even imagine the living conditions of the 5 dogs that the plaintiff has and the 5 puppies and the 3 that he now has with the new girlfriend. Find another side hustle. Take up crocheting.
Title, Judy Justice.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.tv.
Credits, audio description by Descriptive Video Works. Written by Joel Beacon. Narrated by Michael Fournier. Director and executive producer Randy Douthat. Executive producer Scott Kundal. Announcer Al Murdoch. Portions of the program have been edited to conform to time or content restrictions. The decisions rendered by the judge are binding and final. Property exchanges ordered by the judge may be facilitated by security. Monetary awards are paid from a fund maintained by the producer. Judy Justice, episode number JDYJ314. Copyright 2024 Amazon Content Services, LLC.
You sell miniature pigs. One of them died.
Correct.
Maybe you fed it something wrong.
That's not the reason it died, though. I have documents from the vet.
I'm talking. You don't want me just to dismiss your whole case, which I'm thoroughly prepared to do. I have other things to do today.
This is Judy Justice.
I don't care.
Garlic is suing her former customer, Ashley Satimi, for slander and the cost of 2 miniature pigs.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Kevin approaches the bench.
Hello, Judge. Case 3029, Garlic versus Simiti.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Garlic, you have a business. I don't know if this is your main business, but you sell miniature pigs.
That is correct. This is one of my major businesses.
How long have you been doing that?
About 18 years.
You have photographs of what your pigs look like?
Sure.
Yeah, take a look at them, please.
Do you want the ones that she got off of me?
No.
Oh, adult ones? I do have some adult ones.
Karen hands photos to Kevin.
There's a couple photos for her.
Okay. I'm going to try to simplify this if I can. And these are babies, or are these?
Those are older ones. They're like
Adults.
a year old, 8 months to a year
How
old.
much do they weigh?
Typically, if you feed correctly, anywhere from about 12 pounds up to about 40 pounds. About the size of a medium-sized dog.
Okay. And do they live in the house?
These are house pets. So they're litter box trained. I try to train them before they ever leave. I spend a lot of time with that.
Okay. How much do you sell them for?
Typically, my prices range between about $2,000, depending on age and size, up to about $3,500.
And I assume that in this business, the smaller they are,
The more they cost.
the more they cost. Well, to sort
And
of
also
like,
the younger they are, the more they cost.
okay. You were buying these as pets for yourself,
Correct.
and you were going to buy 2.
Yes.
Where did you see the plaintiff advertising the piglets, or did you hear it by word of mouth?
Just Google.
Just tell me what would inspire you to get a pig instead of a dog.
Well, I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. But I went to the state fair and I saw them in the piglets in the birthing barn.
Okay, and you fell in love. Got it.
There we go.
Got it. So you bought 2 pigs. According to both of you, you gave a deposit for the pigs, correct?
Yes, she gave a deposit on each pig because the amount was more and she didn't have enough right then, so she's going to make payments.
Okay. And in total, she paid you how much?
She paid me $1,500 deposit on each piglet, and then she gave me 3 payments of $250 Zelle payments, which she was supposed to pay for $250 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so she paid you $3,750 altogether.
Yes, which she's reversed all that.
I understand.
Oh,
that.
okay.
And the total purchase price for the 2 pigs that she purchased?
Okay, each one was $2,700.
Okay.
And
well, let me go through something that each of you agree on. She purchased 2. You sent them to her.
Correct.
In transit, before she got them, one of them died.
Yes, due to complication of Spain. Okay.
One of them didn't die in your custody.
Correct.
Died in transit.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't know, but we know that certainly the
Correct.
piglet didn't die of old age. It died in transit, so she only received 1.
Right.
At that time. And what was the date of that?
She had it delivered on the 21st of September.
Okay. And when you contracted for these piglets, Miss Satimi, did you sign a contract?
I did not, no.
Did you get any paperwork at all from her?
I have text messages stating the amount owed.
No. Do you have a contract?
Didn't have a contract with her.
The charges that you would pay for her, because you had paid her a certain amount of money, $3,750. Did you get all that money back?
No.
How much did you get back?
$3,000.
And then the Zelle account suspended that.
Just a second.
They took it from me, and they've got to suspend it because she claimed I was fraudulent.
Just a second. She now has 2 pigs. What happened to them in her care is, as you understand, is not.
I have 1.
I don't care whether you have 1 now, madam. I just told you you had 2 pigs that were healthy according to the vet. After you had had the replacement pig for over 10 days, it died after it had seen a vet that reported it healthy. You say it was 3 days. If it was the next day, I would say it was the shot the vet gave him that caused her to die. But you said it was 3 days later. I don't know what you fed it. I don't know what you did to it. I don't know who else took care of it. It's irrelevant. She's entitled to her money for 2 pigs. And if you had that reversed by the bank, you can't do that. You had a 90-day replacement for the pigs, and she replaced it, and she has received 0 money.
$750.
That's 0 money.
I don't have it. And I don't believe that it's on hold either.
It is.
Just a second. You don't have what?
The $750 I sent her, I did a dispute on it, and they said that because it was not fraudulent, she still has it.
For the $5,000 that these 2 pigs cost, you paid, according to you, $750.
That's correct.
Well, you owe her the rest. You owe her the money. I'm finding, now we're finished.
Okay.
Now we're finished with testimony, and I'm telling you that the death of one of the pigs, you have one, the death of the other one, happened in your care. Whatever it was, if you don't want to blame the vet, blame yourself, not her. You had a healthy pig when that pig went to the vet over a week after it arrived from her. So it's your fault, and you owe her the rest of the money. Did you get the $750 from her? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
No. You owe her $4,900 for the 2 pigs. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. It's dismissed.
This court is adjourned.
My slander.
It's
over.
dismissed.
Okay.
I tell you one other thing. If you post anything derogatory about her business again, she's going to see you back in court, either mine or somebody else's. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Judy leaves. Outside the courtroom, Karen, then Ashley.
Some people think they get something for nothing anymore, and it's just the way it is. People try to cheat you.
You know, I got 3 pigs from her. 2 of them died.
You know, I get so attached because I'm very passionate about my animals and very passionate about my business and my customers.
And 2 out of 3, that's not a good record.
So this is just really heart set to me because
2 pigs dying, there's something goofy going on there.
anytime a little animal dies like that, I take heart.
Judy and Sarah.
Moral of the case, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on a pet, have a contract in writing as to what your expectations are so that you have a price, you have whatever guarantees there are, you have whatever exchange policies there are. Because what happened in there is I had to create a contract out of
Nothing, out of
text mails,
voicemails.
out of text messages. I agreed to pay. Yes, well, that's a meeting of the minds as to a term. But that's an unprofessional way of the plaintiff to deal with a business that is a substantial business if she has 18 pigs. And it's really not a smart way for the defendant, to whom money is important, $5,000 has to be important to her, would go into a business arrangement without a formal writing.
Yeah, and just a secondary point that I was thinking of is we would want that contract to exist for anything, for a car, for a transfer of funds, but especially you want those details and those guarantees for a life. You're talking about a living animal.
Right.
And I think that requires, from both ends, a lot more words, a lot more sign pages, something more.
It requires a contract.
A contract.
It requires a contract. And she's in the breeding business. She's been doing it for 18 years. She should have a contract.
Listing whatever her terms may be. Maybe it's you don't get a refund, but I'll send you, replacement. That's perfectly fine. But all of those expectations should be
in a
out.
contract.
Title: Judy Justice.
Are you having a family dispute? Go to judyjustice.tv.
Credits: audio description by Descriptive Video Works. Written by Joel Beacon. Narrated by Michael Fournier. Director and executive producer Randy Doufit. Executive producer Scott Kundal. Announcer Al Murdoch. Portions of the program have been edited to conform to time or content restrictions. The decisions rendered by the judge are binding and final. Property exchanges ordered by the judge may be facilitated by security. Monetary awards are paid from a fund maintained by the producer. Judy Justice, episode number JDYJ312. Copyright 2024 Amazon Content Services, LLC.
So you moved in with your aunt and uncle,
I was told that I was using them.
and it was a heated argument.
I had to contact the police to get my things.
That is not true.
I lost my dad, so I never really got to have a connection with them. So this was an opportunity to really be a part of their life.
This is Judy Justice. Brenda LaFountain for personal belongings after moving out of Brenda's house.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
Kevin approaches the bench.
Case number 3024, Lukowski versus Fountain.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You were in the military?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you get out of the military?
December 14th, ma'am.
December 14th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
At that time, you had no job, you had no place to live, and the defendant is your aunt.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume you called her and asked her if you could live with her?
No, ma'am. My mom refused to pick me up from the Appleton airport.
And?
My aunt, Brenda, was the only option at the time.
Just a second. My question to you is, she would have to know that you needed a place to live. The question is designed to elicit an answer. Did you call her or did she call you?
I called my mom and my mother called my Aunt Kelly, which is Brenda's sister, and worked it out with Brenda that I would stay with her.
I didn't ask you about staying with. When did you first have a conversation with your aunt?
The day she picked me up from the airport.
What date?
December 15th.
She picked you up from the airport. Had you had any conversation with her prior to her getting to the airport? How you would be arriving, what time, where to pick you up, where you would meet? Did you have any conversation either by text or on the phone?
No, ma'am, I did not have a cell phone.
So you had no conversation with her?
No, ma'am.
Okay. December 15th, she picked you up, got into the car, and?
We went back to her house with my Aunt Kelly and Brenda, and I moved there.
Well, tell me how that happened. You're a big girl. Tell me how that happened.
Yes, ma'am. I got back from the airport. They picked me up. We went back to her house. We figured everything out.
Not figured everything out. Not figured everything out. You said to her, she said to you, somebody said, you don't have a place to live. Could I live with you? I want to hear that.
Yes, ma'am. They said I could stay
Not
rent-free.
Not they.
Brenda said I could stay rent-free.
Well, how did she know you didn't have a place to live? Did you tell her you had no money and no place to live?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, that's what I want to know.
Yes, ma'am.
When did that conversation take place?
The night after picking me up at the airport on December 15th.
So where did you sleep that night?
At Brenda's house.
Okay. And had you ever lived with your aunt before?
No, ma'am.
So you moved in with your aunt and uncle, and they agreed that you could stay there until you got on your feet.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there's nothing wrong with you, right?
No, ma'am.
What city and state do you live in?
I live in New Holstein, Wisconsin.
Okay. And so you moved in December. Lots of temporary jobs around Christmas. Did you get a job?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing?
I was putting together molds for birdseed.
How much were you paid?
I was paid around $17 an hour.
How long did that job last?
2 months, ma'am.
From January to February?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay any expenses to your aunt and uncle while you were working in January and February?
No, ma'am.
What date did you move out?
March 20th, ma'am.
Where were you working in March?
I was a guest service member. I would tend to customers as in like a cashier and
how much were you making there?
$16.50, ma'am.
How much money did you put away during this period of time, January, February, and March, where you were working and not paying any rent?
I had about $500 in my bank. I did get in a really bad car accident, and in that time period, so...
Which time period?
I got into a car accident in late February.
Whose car?
My car.
When did you buy a car?
This was before boot camp, ma'am.
So you had a car. You had to get the car from someplace. Where did you leave the car when you went into the armed services?
Stevens Point, Wisconsin, where I was born.
At whose house?
My friend that I was staying with before boot camp.
So you were in a car accident sometime in February.
Yes, ma'am.
And so no payments to your aunt in January, February, or March. And tell me about when they asked you to leave.
It was an argument. I calmly sat down and I was told that I was, quote unquote, a burden and using them. And it was a very heated argument on that I do nothing around the house while, I was living there. And I refused to put up with that because I did do a fair share amount while they were using my information to get heat assistance and food stamps. And so it's not like I didn't provide them any help. They had help through the state.
Well, that's not you helping them.
No, ma'am.
Right. That has nothing to do with you. So you left.
Yes.
And it was a heated argument. And that argument took place on what date?
That argument took place, if I remember correctly, on March 18th.
And you left March 20th.
Yes, ma'am.
So on March 20th, you decided to leave.
Yes.
Great. And you packed all your stuff.
No, ma'am.
Well, you should have, because that's what this case is about. You should have. If you decided to leave on March 18th after living with your aunt and uncle on their dime for 3 months, and you decided to leave after a heated argument, according to you, on March 18th, you should have packed all your underwear and left, not leave a few things with tags on it.
Yes, ma'am.
You should say to your aunt and your uncle, thank you very much for taking care of me for 3 months, not sue them.
I never got to really know my aunt that much, so I wanted to have space after the argument to try to, decompress because I don't do well with
What do you mean?
confrontation.
Just a second. What do you mean you don't know your aunt too well?
I lost my dad, so I never really got to have a connection with them. I lived in Stevens Point with my mom, and so this was an opportunity to really live with my aunt and be a part of their life.
Okay, I'm not going to get into your history because I see that you're getting too emotional. That's not going to happen. What I'm suggesting to you is, especially if it's someone that you don't have a connection with, who did you a kindness and it unfortunately didn't work out. Your response to that is not suing them for some alleged underwear that you left behind when you had time to pack all your stuff. Did you still have a car, or was it totaled in the February accident?
I did not have a car anymore.
Okay, so who picked you up from your aunt and uncle's house?
My best friend, Emily, did.
Okay.
It was March 18th. I slept over for 2 days and made the final decision to move out on the 20th. I have the text messages here.
So you slept at your friend's house March 18th and March 19th.
Yes, ma'am.
And you brought clothes with you.
Yes, ma'am, a week's worth.
And March 20th, you decided to move out completely.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And you went back to the house?
Yes, and all the doors were locked.
That is not true.
Shh. Did you ultimately go into the house?
No, ma'am.
You never went back into the house after March 18th?
No, ma'am.
Well, then what did you go there for on March 20th?
I had to contact the police to get my things, which they packed up. They refused to let me in the house. And then I went back into the house March 20th to pick up my belongings that were set outside.
Okay, well, that's fine. You took the important stuff with you because you were going for a week, so anything valuable you took with you. Okay, let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is you claim that your niece damaged the house while she was living there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Show me. Show me.
I have many pictures and an estimate for the damages of the...
You sure about this? You sure about you want me to see this?
Yes, please.
Okay, good.
Caption coming up.
I don't have 90% of my regular underwear, so I will be over tomorrow to grab those. That was on April 9th.
I have the text messages before that.
I don't care about the text messages before that.
And later today.
His son says he only turned over 4 dogs. He asked his colleague to bring out the other one. The other one wasn't there. Am I getting that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so just don't talk to him. Talking to me.
A woman nods. A courthouse. The Judy Justice logo appears.
Kaylee Kovleski claims her aunt, Brenda LaFountain, is wrongfully keeping her belongings. Brenda is countersuing Kaylee for property damage.
Okay, what I see here is a mess. I don't know what this is. What is this?
That is a burn from a candle on top of a new dresser.
Of a dresser.
Nightstand.
Judy flips through photos.
I assume this is you showing me that she left a bowl of food on here.
Yes, ma'am.
But, okay, not nice, but I'm getting to know it. I'm getting to understand it. And this? I mean, was that the same day? Was that March 18th? Was it March 20th? Or did you go?
March 20th, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I finally moved into where I'm staying. Everything is unpacked, and I realized that I'm missing over 40 Victoria's Secret pennies. What is that?
Underwear, Your Honor.
Pennies?
Panties.
And that I don't have 90% of my regular underwear, so I will be over tomorrow to grab those.
Yes.
That was on April 9th.
I have the text messages before that.
I don't care about the text messages before that. You moved out on March 20th, and you're sending her something on April 9th that you finally unpacked and you realize you're missing underwear.
Yes, because they packed up my stuff on March 20th, Your Honor.
Yeah,
and
this was April 9th.
I realized that I was missing my stuff.
On when? On April 9th.
When I finally had the opportunity to go through my things fully.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Okay, the only thing I want to show you, aside from the mess and the food mess, the only picture that I want to show you is this, and I want you to tell me how this happened.
Judy hands a photo to Kevin, who brings it to Kaylee.
Your Honor, did you get to the closet?
Yeah, I don't care about the closets. I want you to tell me how that happened.
So this is a rabbit hide, Your Honor. It's a real rabbit hide.
Not the rabbit hide. I'm not talking about the rabbit hide. I'm talking about what happened under the rabbit hide.
Applied to it, so the bottom of the hide, that's what it is.
How did that happen?
You have a wax melter for scent that they gave to me.
So you burned something on that, it got too hot, and the bottom of whatever that skin is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that was you.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is it going to cost to refinish the top of that? Do you have an estimate for that?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, that's too bad. Your claim is dismissed. You should say thank you to your aunt and uncle, and you left the house pretty messy when you left there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're done.
This court is adjourned.
Outside the courtroom, Kaylee, then Brenda.
It is what it is.
She did notice that Kaylee's room was a disastrous mess.
I was given a place to stay by my aunt, and that was nice of her, but she's just not a good person.
She was an entitled brat, and we were not going to play into that.
I'm just ready to move forward. Yeah.
I wish her the best in her endeavors.
Sarah and Judy.
I knew there had to be more to the story there when the plaintiff said, first, right off the bat, that her mother refused to pick her up from boot camp. That sounds unusual to someone who hears it, so I knew there had to be more there, but I felt bad for this aunt and uncle. It seemed like they were, again, no good deed goes unpunished. They took her in, and they had a kerfuffle, as you would say. You know, they didn't get along. She was a little messy.
Not a little messy.
She didn't learn that at boot camp, but no. They didn't mesh well, and maybe it wasn't the relationship the plaintiff was hoping that she would find or uncover, you know, in her new family.
Sounds to me as if she took advantage of them. The condition of that room.
I didn't see all the photos that you saw. I saw portions of them, but
the condition of that room was deplorable, really deplorable. And food in there, and old food, dried up food, you know, and this is their home.
I'd have to be very comfortable with my closest aunt and uncle to even eat in the bedroom. So I agree with that point.
I don't even allow Poppy to eat in the bedroom.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they did something that they thought was good, and it turned out to be really bad.
Yeah.
And shouldn't discourage people from wanting to help them. But gratitude is a good word. Yeah. Suing is not.
Kevin.
Case number.
Homeless, 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 homeless. Rogan? Homeless. Homeless. Glory. Homeless. 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 Donna. Homeless. 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 Yuri.
Alamos. Homus. Alamos. Alamos. Homus. Alamos. Homus.
Yes,